And we're live, Adam.
And we're live. Hello, everybody. This is Vin Scully. Enjoy the Dodgers. Oh, wow. Okay, so welcome to Saturday live broadcast, Silver Lining Podcast. It's Rex and Adam. We're trying to get through a couple of little hiccups as we usually do. Because again, this is not a professional podcast.
I don't think we need to prove that every week. I think they know
that. Every week there's something going on. Every week.
Missy's waving at us, but now she's off camera.
Well, we want to thank Missy for moderating. She'll be putting your questions through to us. The live is for Rex and I to answer any questions that you guys might have. We can talk about whatever topics you want to talk about. And we'll be talking about a few things that have been going on, especially our trip to Idaho.
Tell us about our trip, Adam.
Well, the last time we talked on the live, our trip was going to be fantastic, and I was excited because I was going to get some warm clothes to wear to Idaho, Rexburg, Idaho. And then everybody jumped in and said, hey, it's a 5-hour drive from Boise, 4.5 hours. And I was like, it's not a bad ride, but Rex and I have taken road trips before where we're driven and we're okay in the car together.
What does Boise have to do with it? We aren't in Boise, Adam.
I know. But, we were going to drive from Salt Lake, weren't we?
Yeah.
So how long is that from Salt Lake to
3 hours.
Oh, it's only 3 hours. Okay. So that's not bad. But the news is that my pickleball facility is going through some changes. And I will be working that Friday where I want to be in Rexburg, Idaho, to participate in what I am very excited about, finding out some things that Rex and I have been onto for a while and some of the guests that are going to be there and things that are going to happen. I'm going to actually miss out on that, but I will be on the live and the meet and greet. Rex, you said you're going to put me on a computer somewhere for the meet and greet.
That's right. So the people that are in the Rexburg area, if you come to the meet and greet at 6 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time next week, remember tomorrow at Mountain.
Oh, it changes tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow for everyone except for y'all in Arizona and I think one other state. But 6 o'clock we'll start the meet and greet, and at 6:30 we will start the live broadcast for everyone. That's 6:30 Mountain Daylight Time still. Okay. We don't have the location nailed down yet, so those of you in the Rexburg area, stay tuned.
By the way, we do want to thank people that reached out on Facebook and other ways that people reached out in email that, hey, this may be a good place for you guys to do your live and meet and greet in Rexburg, Idaho. And there's been some people that open up their barns and their houses and all that stuff. So we appreciate all that.
Yeah. So Jen O'Rulian has a place. So we're looking at that. I need to hear back from when she gets a chance from, let's see, we have the hotel we're going to stay at as a backup if we need it. So I'm getting everyone's names confused right now in my mind. I feel like I'm giving the State of the Union address.
Good thing you don't look anything like him.
Well, I'm old.
No, you're not that old. No,
it doesn't count.
No,
okay.
You're not even close to his age.
So Jan O'Rulian generously offered her office or her husband's great room. We may end up there. But Janine is also working on a place for us, so we just don't have it nailed down yet. We'll get it nailed down and get the word out. But it will be at 6, the live for everyone. Now, you don't have to be in Rexburg to come on here on StreamYard and be on the live. But the meet and greet will be at 6, the live starting at 6:30.
Is that on Friday or Saturday?
That's on Friday.
Friday, gotcha.
Friday the 15th.
Yes. Saturday the 16th.
So we're looking forward to seeing all the optimists that can make it there to Rexburg and the Hidden Gems, because I'll be there with Lauren Matthias from Hidden True Crime. And so we're looking to doing a little mixing, and I know many of you are both hidden gems and optimists, so it'll be a good chance for us to get together.
So that's coming up. We're less than 6 days away from that happening. So we're putting things together. And if you're in that neck of the woods, some of you have made comments that you're going to be coming to it, which is great. And if you want your book signed, Rex can sign his name and then he can sign my name for me. He's got my signature down.
I don't even have my signature down. What are you talking about?
The funny thing about me and Rex signing books is that they're both like terrible, like chicken scratch, but his is better than mine. And that, right? And I was like, what? How is your signature better than mine?
That's sad because I have essential tremors.
Right. I was like, how is that possible? You can't even write and it's better than mine.
So Jewel Gazer nailed it here.
Okay.
You can see up on the screen. So if I was doing the State of the Union, I'd say, fellow Americans, follow your internal guidance system.
Let's let Rex run for president. And if everybody could just do that, this will be a better country for sure.
It really would be. But Jewel Gazer has got it. That's all I got to say. So
way to go. Way to dig deep there, Jewel Gazer. Way to really come to the rescue.
And unfortunately, Dr. John won't be with us up there in Rexburg. They'll be watching Banks, their son. He'll be with him, but it will be Lauren and I and some other people.
Good. Well, I'll be excited to see what you guys come up with, or maybe we'll talk about it later off the air. What the things that I want to see in person. And of course, you're going to video some of it too, so I'll be able to see that. Yeah. And maybe the video will be on a future podcast and all that. So
yeah, we'll make a video there, but won't be shown right away. It'll be a little bit later in the trial.
Yeah.
So we're going to be cryptic about that to build the anticipation, and because there are things we can't talk about with what we're doing. Not that it's secret; it's just we don't want to put out information with the trial going on until it comes up in the trial.
Right.
We can talk about it.
Yeah. And because Rex and I have been speculating, we've even talked about some of our speculations on different podcasts about certain things. And now that we're getting confirmation about some of those things, it's starting to make a little bit more sense and maybe even possible what we originally thought. So anyways, I know that's all behind the scenes but just know something could be coming out on the podcast where we can explain some stuff.
Okay. And so, just to continue with our unprofessional theme. So we've done something to our moderator so she can't star comments to put them up. I don't know. I know where that setting is. I'll go back and try to find it when we switch over to you, Adam.
Okay, well, tell me when you need some time because I got some things to say.
Okay. Well, let's show a couple things first. We have a lot of announcements, so let's just intersperse them in here.
Okay.
But Nancy just finished the audiobook, Nancy Morales. It was wonderful. Thank you for the tribute to the optimist. It is heart affirming. Thank you for that, Nancy. And I hope you'll write a review for us. They're on Amazon. Even if you didn't get the audio version on Amazon, you can still write a review on Amazon, I believe. Speaking of that, everyone who hasn't written in Amazon, if they had a positive experience with any version of the book, please write a review on there. Amazon
sorry, go ahead.
Amazon still has a couple of problems. I understand they sent out a couple of Latin versions still. Apparently, you don't have to return that to get a replacement. You have to contact Amazon and let them know. And
unfortunately, that's still going on sometimes. So we're not. I just don't understand it, and we'll just leave it at that.
And Jane, our publisher, doesn't understand it. I talked to her night before last, and she's doing what she can. So she'll talk to them. Another note while we're talking about writing reviews and books, y'all have been so generous. Okay, so let me say this first. Last time we had a live, we asked for donations to purchase copies of Gina Henderson's notebook, Holding On to Hope. for residents and staff or neighbors and staff of the other side village. You all came through in a big way. You raised $217, which was enough to purchase a notebook for all of the neighbors, plus the 2 new neighbors and all of the staff in the other side village in Salt Lake City. And Gina just made that order today to send those. So
that's fantastic.
We had a few people donate after the live, Adam, that donated just through the comments, through YouTube.
And we want to thank Lisa for matching everything too.
Yes, and some people asked if there's a way to donate without going through YouTube, because YouTube takes a chunk. Darn near any way to donate takes a chunk. Some chunk more than others, but we don't have that information handy. We will get that to you.
I would just drive over there, walk in with some cash and say, here you go. This is for this.
And where would you drive to, Adam?
Australia, wherever I need to go.
Speaking of Australia, okay, let me tell you, the foundation sent out 6 more books yesterday to people that said, hey, I don't have the money. I'd like to read the book. I don't have the money to purchase one. Could you send me one? The foundation sent out 6 more yesterday. There are 3 that we're ready to send out, but let me ask this right now. These 3 are in Australia, Canada, South Africa. We can't send out an author's copy overseas. So if any optimists have a book in one of those countries that they can send, please contact. If you'd like to send it to another optimist who doesn't have the money to purchase one, let us know, because those optimists will get them a lot quicker than if we order those copies and have them sent to South Africa, Canada, Australia. So if any of you are in those countries or are willing to send it to another optimist, let us know. We'll get the address to you. Thank you for that. If we don't hear from anyone, we'll go ahead and send those out. It'll just be a while before those 3 optimists get a copy of the book.
Let's go back to Nancy's comment about the audiobook, saying that it's wonderful, and I appreciate that. We're glad, and that we, at the end of the book, Rex and I, as we started this podcast, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever it's been now, that when we started this podcast, we started getting, all this positive and messages, and just which really turned into the Facebook community and all that stuff. That we mentioned, that we talked about, is like, we need to put some of these comments in the book, because there's some really good stuff to learn from. The ones that I chose, Rex, I know you chose different ones too, but the ones I chose, I felt like there was something to learn from what the comment was. So when you do get the book, or if you haven't got the book yet, at the very end, we mention the comments that people made, some of them that we threw into the book, and then Rex and I commented on their comment. So that's in the book. Also, let us know, what did you like? Was there any twists or turns that you didn't know? Was there something that really you related to, or anything like that? Things that you learned. I know Rex has a lot of things. Every time he writes a book, there's a lot of things to learn in that. So let us know those comments too, when you do listen to the book or read it on Kindle or the paperback. And by the way, if you're brand new to the podcast, our book is called Lori's Lies and Family Ties. It's about, our family struggles and the things that happen to our family. Rex and I have been talking about it now for 6 months. More therapy for us, but you guys seem to relate to some of it. Yeah.
And the ones that have been here the whole time are just very patient with us as we talk about
as we have our own therapy talk.
Right. So Adam, Darlene says that she found and listened to your phone call with the police after Charles was killed. That was a great listen.
Oh, well, at that point I was frustrated because, when Charles was killed, his phone was the evidence. What did you get in a fight with Charles over, Lori? Oh, we were fighting over his phone. Then the police leave the house without Charles's phone, the number one piece of evidence. They didn't get it back for 48 hours. Lori had it. Who knows what she did with it and what she put in there, and who knows? But at that point, I had left messages with the Chandler Police Department, and it's like, is anybody going to call me? And then finally, a detective called me, and I thought it was 3 months. It ended up being a month, but it seemed like forever, to be honest with you. And yeah, so I did get out the things that I wanted to say. So thank you for listening to that, I guess.
Very good. Lindsay would like to hear us do a live while you and I read the book in Latin.
The gibberish book? Well,
Yeah.
It's not even the book. It's just gibberish. There's nothing. There's no content. It's not our book.
Well, she wants us to read it to see if she can tell a difference between English and what we're doing.
And what we're doing?
Maybe she wasn't a fan of the book, and
maybe she heard me try to read the audio book and go, "Oh, he cannot read. Let's get him to try to do this one."
But seriously, Adam, why don't you do this while I see if I can get Missy online here?
Okay.
We'd love to hear Adam talk about his experience being interviewed by CW and what that was like for him. So tell us what that means for those that haven't seen it, didn't hear of it, and tell us a little bit about it, if you would.
Well, the CW contacted me and said that they have a new series that they're doing. I think it's called Crime Nation. I think that's the name of it. And that they were doing a story on Lori and Chad. Would I want to be part of it? And this is right when Rex and I started our podcast and our book. And I said, well, if I can get across the message that I want to get across, then I feel like, yes, I'll do an interview as long as you don't cut out what I want to say. And they agreed to that. So they came to Arizona and they rented an Airbnb. And I went to this Airbnb somewhere in Scottsdale. And they had a big crew there, and I walked in and they had everything set up in this living room, lights and cameras and all that stuff. And somebody asking me questions. And it was a 4-hour process, maybe even 5 hours. It's a lot. So if I look tired or drained on the episode that aired, I think it aired on Tuesday. I saw a couple of clips. I haven't seen the whole thing, so I'm not sure exactly. But I think Kay and Larry are on there, and Laura Mathias is on there. But being interviewed again about everything, I just, I've been living this for 4 or 5 years, or however long this has been going on. Like my timeline has completely gone. So it has been. I guess it was a good experience just because I got to, talk about the things that I wanted to talk about. And of course, my message is, and always has been from this, is let's not cut people off in your family. If somebody's accusing somebody of something, or there's miscommunication and nobody's talking, my message from doing this podcast, writing the book, is to save families from going down the road that our family went through. So hopefully, at least maybe they got some of that out. I'm not sure if they did. They were more interested, I think, in just Chad and Lori's story. Any other questions? That's on the T-shirt on the merch store. See how I segued that?
Good. Segue into
the merch store. So
into the merch store.
If you guys,
I would have to leave the studio to do the fixing here, and I'm not willing to do that because I logged on, so it may shut down the live.
Yeah, let's not do anything hasty here.
Okay, so
you'll have to moderate. Missy will just watch you moderate.
Okay, and to tell Janine, we got a private text on that. The hotel may not be our best option. I talked to them again, and I'll give you a call after the live here, Janine.
Yeah, so coming
And
up this Friday, Rex will be in Rexburg, Idaho, doing a live. He'll be there live and also doing some video stuff for a future podcast.
Janine is helping us. Okay, Janine has arranged for a surprise guest there. Okay. Let me tell you what she texted. What would you say if I've arranged, this is, well, I said, Janine, what would you say if I have arranged for a surprise guest to be here next week? Someone that you, Adam, Lauren, and John all think the world of. Or would you prefer me to tell you who it is? And I said, no, I like surprises.
No, I want to know.
Well, must be present to win, Adam. So,
well, I have to work that Friday, so I cannot be there.
I know. So you'll have to wait for the rest of us,
like the rest of everybody else, for the surprise guest.
To see who the surprise guest is.
All right. Well, if she's thinking that we all love this person, then I think it's going to be great. I just don't know who it could possibly be.
And I won't speculate. Lauren and I were speculating last night.
Oh, I think I know. It just hit me.
Well, it's probably not him because this person wants to stay in the same hotel. So it's someone from out of town.
Oh, so it's not Nate Eaton. Dang it. I thought it would be Nate Eaton.
We are going to invite Nate.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be great if Nate could come. In fact, I'll do that. I'll text him this evening. Okay.
All right, back to the live Silver Lining podcast live. We do it once a week live, and then we do a recorded one that comes out on Tuesdays. So if you're new to our podcast, that's been our schedule.
Okay, and Cam is just reminding us with a very generous donation. So good to see you guys. Always makes my day better. Thank you, Cammy. And the dollars are generous, and those will pay for those. Some of those books we just sent out, that the foundation just sent out to optimists that didn't have the money to pay for them themselves. So thank you for that donation, Cammy. And Darlene will buy one for the Canadian. Thank you, Darlene. But I don't think you're in Canada, are you? Or are you?
Canada.
Okay, we'll find that out.
So, by the way, don't tell Lindsay, but I think I was supposed to mail some books out today.
You still haven't mailed them out, huh?
Monday morning, for sure. It's a done deal Monday morning. You know how, unless the post office is open on Sunday, which I don't think it is.
So Missy says we have 89 in the live chat and only 30 likes. Please take a second to like this live stream. Of course, some people may be in their car listening, and so.
Where's the like button? I'm on mine. I don't see a like button.
I don't have a like button on mine either. I think so maybe because we're in the studio.
Oh, we can't like it. You two are biased. You're not allowed to like your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So let's start talking about this a little bit, Adam.
Okay.
Lindsay just yelled at me. Sorry, it wasn't that one.
Lindsay's about to yell at me.
And said, love Nate, watched all his podcasts at the trial, and from Scotland. Thanks for joining us from Scotland.
What's going on in Scotland today?
It's probably freezing cold and 11 o'clock at night.
Oh.
But during the trial, Adam and I will be watching not every moment. Well, I'll speak for me, you speak for you, Adam.
Okay.
I don't plan on watching everything. I'll probably look for highlights. There's just some stuff I don't want to rehash. And actually, I just texted yesterday for an appointment with my counselor, my therapist, because frankly, I want to go in and talk to him and say, what should I be concerned with? Is it possible there are hidden emotional bonds? Am I going to walk into a minefield listening to an emotional minefield, listening to the podcast, not the podcast, the trial, and certainly when I know they're having subjects I'm really interested in, I'll listen very closely. But thanks to y'all's encouragement, Adam and I are both aware of our mental health during this. I don't think there'll be a problem, but heck, what do I know?
Right.
And so I'm going to be very deliberate about what energy I put into it and when. How about you, Adam?
I have several people that really watch everything and stay in touch with this whole trial and case and everything. So I won't even have to watch it. People will send me a clip of, like, if something that people are talking about happen, then I'll know about it. So I don't plan on tuning in or watching or anything. I'm sure I'll get video clips or audio, or even people just texting me, this just happened, or whatever it is. So yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
Okay. And Richie put up an answer to our question, to your question, Adam, about what's going on in Scotland. 10:30 and very cold.
You were so close, Rex. You said 11 and cold.
Yeah. You can count on that from Scotland, I think, from what I've heard. I haven't been to Scotland. I lived in England when I was a little kid, but haven't been to Scotland. I was right there, but they wouldn't give a 5-year-old a ride.
Right. By the way, we're talking about Chad's trial or Lori's trial?
Either one.
Okay. Well, Lori's trial, I'm sure at some point I'll probably have to be at the trial to testify. I think that could happen. But Chad's trial, I mean, there's things that maybe are going to come out that I would be interested in learning, but I'm not going to sit in front of a computer and watch it. But if somebody sends me clips, I'm sure we'll all be able to talk about it.
Yeah. I've got to come clean with a confession here, Adam.
Okay.
What you see in the background here is a virtual background. A couple of people have complimented my home, how beautiful it is.
It is very beautiful, Rex. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. That what was it? Do it yourself, DIY.
I should play the piano for some people.
You should go back there and play us a tune.
Yeah, actually, this is my room. Not nearly as glamorous.
Yeah.
And that's why I have this up as my virtual background.
Well, I keep mine real, Rex. I'm going to shift this over. Hold on. Where's my basketball? Where's my basketball hoop?
See your open closet again, okay?
Where's my basketball hoop?
You do not need that.
I'm my head. Oh, there it is. See that? There's my basketball hoop.
Okay, back to our live. Wow. So, Exuma Blues. Don't know if I said that right. She said, just downloaded your audiobook. I'm in tears. Bless you all. She means that very lovingly, I think. I don't think she's disappointed in our audiobook. That's why she's in tears. But, that thought does come to mind.
You and I were both in tears voicing the audiobook. So I'm sure that other people will be in tears when they hear it.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
It's a sad story. It's just so sad. And, people that have never heard this story before, and I come in contact with people and, they're asking me and they're like, I never even heard of that. And I was like, well, it was pretty big news. A lot of people, and I'm grateful that they haven't heard of it, to be honest. I'm like, oh, great. You don't know anything about this.
Well, it is a sad story, but our book isn't about the story. So
right.
The sad parts aren't because we went into great detail about Tylee and JJ and their murders, which is horrific. It's not just sad, it's horrible, just horrible.
Yeah.
We didn't go into great detail of that, but sharing family stuff, sharing the effect on people, whether it's family or our optimists, some of the comments in the back, I was in tears reading some of the comments. And I'll say too, there are so many comments to choose from, so many wonderful comments. And obviously we couldn't put them all in the book. So we put a sampling, but I think the tears are just mostly about family. When we talk about family and the effect, this has had an effect on, I believe, everyone that's touched it. Some people say, no, I'm just curious. I want some information. That's fine. But most people, and most people that are optimists, it affected everyone personally. I know that's true for a lot of media and law enforcement people that put the life energy into it, not just their professional energy. So It is. It's a horrific tragedy, and it continues on, unfortunately, and will be dug up again over the next 6 months. So
Yeah.
we're preparing ourselves for that. Going back to starred comments. Okay, we saw Adam on the CW documentary this week. So you haven't seen you. I haven't seen you, Adam, just because I haven't found the stream version. And a couple people told me there were mid-roll ads every 3 minutes. That drives me crazy when there's so many. So I haven't seen it yet. I intend to watch it because I know and love just about everyone that's on that program.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Haven't seen it yet, and I don't feel too anxious because people have told me, well, I didn't get any new information, but it's good to get background or insights from different people.
Yeah.
Okay. Another generous optimist, Miranda Frates Healy. Did I say that right? Frates? I don't know which.
We're just going to say thank you, Miranda.
We're going to say thank you
Awesome.
for that
Yes.
super sticker. Again, that will go towards books for other optimists. So thank you for that. Let me get back.
One of the other things, topics that have been floating around this week on the Facebook page and comments on YouTube is that I mentioned about hugging a cow. And that's kind of gone. People are really going to try to find me a place. So somebody sent a post today or yesterday on Facebook, on the Facebook group, said that there's a place where I can go hug a cow 2 hours from Phoenix. So I might be doing a road trip because I do want to hug a cow. It's still on my list.
Well, let me tell you who posted that. That's our good friend Charlene, who we've had on the podcast. Her 13-year-old daughter told her about that.
Oh, I like that.
And she looked it up and posted it. I'm on the site now looking for it.
Oh yeah, I read that story. She was driving in the car with her daughter, and she was talking about the podcast, and somehow that came up, and the daughter was saying, "Oh yeah, there's a cow hugging place."
Exactly. Just for you, Adam.
I know. I like that.
And I'm going to show you the post. The Cuddle Corral.
The Cuddle Corral. I want to hug a horse too. I like horses and cows and dogs. Those are my three. Those are my top three.
They're in Arizona, so it may be a little drive for you, but
it's a weekend. Maybe if I can get a weekend to go do that, I will. Like a Saturday, I would love that.
Okay. Now, while we are on here, I'm going to try to scroll. No telling what you'll see when I scroll.
Well, they're all good. I mean, I love all the comments. The post on our Facebook community is amazing. And if you haven't joined yet, if you have Facebook, just search for Tylee and JJ's Silver Lining Podcast community. And you can go on there and just be uplifted by a lot of really good posts that people make.
Yeah, Charlene posted this for you, Adam.
I saw that. I commented on that. I was like, if that's just petting it, what do you think that look is going to be when you hug it?
Okay, but I want to. Here's another post from Charlene, and because I was looking at that, I found this post too, and I want to pause. This is switching subjects. But I want to talk about this post that Charlene put up on November 27th, actually. And this is about soldiers, and it's about PTSD, a subject near and dear to our heart. Adam has another cousin, my nephew. In fact, some of you know Megan Connor or Megan Iden, that's been on some podcasts and talked about some things about Lori. This is her brother, and he became a counselor because he was, I'm not going to get all the words right, but he was a para jumper for the Air Force, and they do a lot of special operations, a lot of dark ops. Okay, so think SEAL teams and Rangers. Each branch of the military have their own teams. He is on one of these teams, and he had PTSD from this. Now, a lot of times we relate PTSD to the military people, appropriately so. But post-trauma stress, everyone has trauma. And so there may be several of our optimists that also have PTSD from trauma in their lives. It doesn't have to be military trauma, but this is specifically military trauma. And I recommend this to you if you have any interest at all into this PTSD, because it's so telling. And I'm not going to read it here, but it's beautiful to read because I probably couldn't keep it together. But I'll tell you the way it ends. Here's a soldier with PTSD, and different people are trying to help him, but they haven't experienced it. My nephew, Adam's cousin, became a therapist to help other military people or former military people with PTSD. And that's what this tribute is on here. It's a beautiful way to present that. So just wanted to make notice of that, since I had missed this posting back in November when it went up, but I ran across it. Glad I did. Thank you for posting this, Charlene. So I'd recommend it to any of you that have PTSD, or someone in your family has PTSD that's in the military. This is a beautiful expression, and there aren't very many people at all that do what my nephew does. In other words, that have PTSD and then go be a counselor so they can help other soldiers.
That's an amazing feat. It really is. It takes a lot to do that.
Yeah. So let's see if I can stop screen, and we're back.
Okay. Here we are.
Oh, and I mentioned Nate Eaton, and a lot of people are voicing that they love Nate Eaton. We all love Nate Eaton.
Yeah, I love Nate.
Yeah, so I put those comments up. There are several of them. Oh, it looks like I got 4 or 5 votes as president.
Yes, I'm telling you, Rex, you start running for president. We may have something here. Let's start the campaign now with the optimist.
I think I could get 10, maybe 12 votes. Let's see. How many family members that like me are there?
That like me.
Yeah. That's a narrower group.
More people that aren't in the family.
Yeah, I'd get more votes out of the family, of course.
Out of the family than in the family.
That's the way it is. You just aren't appreciated at home sometimes.
Right.
You know how that works. All right. Patricia asks, why were you living in England when you were a kid? Yep, my father was there in the military at Chicksands Air Force Base. And so I was there from the ripe old ages of about turning 3 to right before I turned 6, before we moved back. So,
what do you remember about that time in your life, Rex? Let's sit on the couch. Let me.
I don't remember, of course, a whole lot from them, but I have some very distinct memories.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them because of family stories that have been told over and over. Adam's mother is the queen of family stories. But when you hear a story from Janice, you don't know how much of it is the actual story and how much is embellished, let's say.
Sugar on top.
Yeah, she never is told a story that she cannot improve. So
she likes to like the best of people.
Yep. I went to kindergarten in England, in fact.
Oh. Did you pick up an accent when you were in kindergarten?
I did.
Gosh, I would love to see a video of that. Please. Why couldn't they have iPhones when you were in kindergarten?
So
kindergarten.
I went to England from Texas, came back to England to Texas. So when I then moved to California, people said I had kind of a
English Texan
accent.
Cheerio, y'all.
Yep, exactly that. Well, not exactly, but
cheerio, y'all. Oh, that's too much.
Okay. So, Missy, I'm just proving that you are a much better moderator than me. See, Missy would had 12 things lined up here, and I'm still.
We'll just put them on the screen and we'll say yes or no.
Mhm.
We'll play the game. You just pop them up. And we're like, no, yeah, no.
I like this advice from Nancy Morales, but it has another aspect to it. Trust your internal guidance system, Rex. I am really working on that, and it's not that it's not as easy as talking about it is. But I am really working on that, doing a lot of internal work on that. But she said she watched Larry on Hidden True Crime. Did you happen to see that, Adam?
I did not.
So it was a day after, and he was on with Dr. John and Lauren on Hidden True Crime, and they interviewed him, and it was raw and hurting is a great description, Nancy. So I hope he is this. Well, I'll be thrilled with whomever the surprise guest in Rexburg, but I hope it's Larry, so I can give him a hug from that and tell him we all love him. And since we're talking about that, Irish Heart asked this about Chad. Do you think Chad would have ultimately deemed his children dark and had them killed, or was it they didn't want young children around? Just saying this makes me really mad. He started this madness. I'll give my opinion, Adam, then turn it over to you. I don't think he would have, mostly because there's no financial gain from doing that. And his children were mostly out of the house at the time. I believe he had a son on a mission, but they were more adult children. So I think part of it was that they were young. And since they were young, there were Social Security benefits to be gained from it. And that was part of the charges against Lori and part of the charges against Chad. The, what do you call it when you steal money from someone else, especially the government? It's
right.
It's a common term that doesn't come to mind, and y'all will help me with it. But grand larceny, and so there's no money in it if to kill them.
Yeah, but if you think about this too, I was on the chopping block at some point. They're not going to make any money by killing me.
No, but they didn't like you.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I didn't go with them. What if one of Chad's kids was against what he was saying? Then he would be a dark spirit. Anytime you went against what Chad and Lori's plan was, then Chad would come up with, well, you're on the dark side and you're a dark 4 or dark 3 or whatever it is, or even zombie status, whatever that means. So I think if one of his kids, his grown adult kids, were to tell him, Dad, you're crazy, and I think you killed him. If Lori and Chad got away with the kid thing for a while, I think, since I was on the chopping block, no money gained, his kid's on the chopping block, unless he would have had a insurance policy on his kids, which he could have, I don't know. But I think that, once you cross, or once you say anything bad about what they're saying, or if you say, hey, they're crazy, they need help, or we got to stop them, or anything like that, then obviously you could be on the chopping block.
Yeah, that's a good point, Adam. I agree with that. I'll reverse. I'll say I'm wrong with that. It wasn't just money. It's any time you would have been an interference with them. And so my point when we were talking about the sentencing, they needed to be put away for life, because who would be safe?
Right.
With people like that, no one would be safe if they were alive out of jail and could just, have their followers. Apparently, there are a whole lot more followers than I was aware of. We're finding out.
Me too.
Yeah, we're hearing more and more about this. But if they had followers as fanatical as Alex, who they turned into their assassins, no one's safe. Or if they themselves were doing the killing, I'm not sure who was behind the proverbial trigger each time. I believe Alex did participate, but there may have been more. So no one would have been safe. So I'm hoping a lot more of that comes out in Chad's trial that's coming up.
Yeah.
So
hence one of the reasons Rex is going to be in Rexburg, Idaho.
That's right. Yeah, we're looking for answers. We're going to be talking to some people, frankly, that may know more about more people that could have been involved. How's that for couching the terminology?
Yeah. And you know, and I mentioned this on maybe one of the earlier podcasts when we were talking about, you know, who's involved in this. And I thought, well, there might be just more people than we know, but as soon as they found the kids, everybody just jumped ship and was like, "Oh my gosh, I was going down this path, and now that I know what they're really doing or what they did, I am out." And then maybe some people are like, "Well, maybe I'm still in, but I can't tell anybody I'm still in." So there's, to me, I think both of those are possibilities still going on right now.
And since I brought that up, Darlene's asking, where are you finding this info, Rex?
Can we even say?
Yeah, we aren't going to. Well, of course, we aren't going to name names at this point. The timing's not right to name names and to talk about that, because we don't want to do anything to interfere with the evidence, potential witnesses in Chad's trial. So we can say more about, and plus, I don't have any evidence. It's nothing I know.
No,
these are
speculations. Just all speculation.
That's why we're following up on it, because we want to find out, what other people are saying in their speculations, or
and maybe it's
actually knows something.
And it's maybe somebody had a friend who was down this path and realized that, no, this friend's not doing this path anymore. You know, maybe it's just hearsay. So, yeah, hopefully we'll know the truth. That's what we all hope for, is the truth. And that's what we like to talk about on this podcast, is just things that are truthful.
Yeah. And we speculate also as we go, and we'll continue speculating, especially during the trial. I think we'll probably be speculating quite a bit, but looking forward to some evidence coming out and finally answering more of the questions. But I think we all have to be prepared for the reality that we aren't going to get answers to all the questions that we have. That's just a frustrating reality of this whole tragedy.
Yeah.
But no, Darlene, it's not public information yet. So she said that in a follow-up comment here in the chat.
Gotcha. Any other questions? We got 13 minutes left on this live. What do you want to know?
Well, I have some more announcement type things here. I have my list.
All right, go ahead, announce away.
The cow, the 13-year-old. Oh, I may have covered all of it. The donated books, Holding On to Hope, Gina's. Okay, so let me tease a podcast we're going to have. I scheduled one in 2 weeks, Adam.
Oh, nice.
How often do we schedule things that far?
Never 2 weeks out. Never 2 weeks out.
With Jane Alvey Harris. Jane, a good optimist here, one of us, part of the group. Also the publisher to our book, and has done wonderful things. We feel real indebted. We're going to have her on the podcast for two reasons. One is because, if you remember, she went through a terrible ordeal in her family, losing a family member, and had to deal with that and regular life all at the same time. And good grief, it sounded like a Job story. And the funeral turned out to be a super spreader, and most of the people there got COVID, and then Jane got a terrible version. Anyway, we want to hear from Jane, and I asked her if for as much of it as she would share, tell us how she got through that, because good grief, it was just terrible. And then she has a very, very exciting project and announcement she's going to make.
Wow.
Comes on the podcast.
I like it. So coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll record it in 2 weeks. So it'll be on probably I don't know if that's 3 weeks from this coming Tuesday or however the timing, but
Okay.
look
I'm
forward to
excited for that. I love Jane. I think she's great. She's done great things with our book and our audiobook and um yeah, and like Rex said, like we're all in this together. Rex and I came on here, starting this podcast to get stuff for our book, to see what you guys would want in the book. And then we found out that everybody has something in their life. Everybody. And every time I run into somebody and they tell me their life story or something that happens, it's like, I can't believe that actually happened. And I really think everybody could write their own personal book about what happened to them in life and what they learned from it to help other people. It's literally every single person has something that they have to go through. And I don't know if you overcome it or you endure it or whatever the term is. But we all are faced with stuff. And like I said, there's people that have things that happen in their lives that I'm like, there is no way I could survive that. And other people are like, I can't believe that you guys are surviving what you're going through. So I think it's just perspective, and we all have something to share. But I like the learning part of it. How did you get through it? What did you do? We had somebody post the other day, one of our, and I won't mention names and stuff, but is going through a hard time. And I just got on there and said, hey, if you're really down on yourself, the things that help me, here's what helped me: listening to my favorite music that gives me feelings, and watching some comedy clips that make me laugh. So music, comedy, those kinds of things, it changes your endorphins. It helps your physical body and your internal body, your soul. And so, I love that people feel comfortable enough to share what's going on in their lives, and other people commenting on some kind of answer or some kind of help or something that helped them.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We started a few minutes late, so we'll go an hour on this. So of course, people now are asking questions here, and Adam, I know you've addressed this before, but it is good to review, especially since it's a very positive outcome.
Oh, it's not negative. This isn't negative. Okay, good.
Mary Howard asks, Adam, she's asking, did your mom apologize to you for shutting you out? And has she actually realized how deeply Lori was involved?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we talked about this on several podcasts. My mom's apologized to me 100 times. And as a mom, and I talk about this too, I'm not in her shoes. If my son at some point came to me and was telling me something and I want to believe him because he's my son, I understand how maybe she got, jinxed or what's the word I'm looking for? She got, yeah. And so but yeah, my mom's apologized. Matter of fact, on the CW, they asked me about my mom and dad. And I gave them my thoughts on my mom and dad. And then somebody sent a message on Facebook and said, Adam, I just wanted to thank you for, saying all the great things you said about your mom on the CW. And so those are the truthful things. Me and my mom are trying to get our relationship back. I don't know if it's ever going to be where it was, but at least we're working towards that. And yes, she understands that she really screwed up, and she apologized and cries a lot about it. So yeah, to answer your question.
Very good. There's this and a follow-up to this. Larry mentioned the circle of friends who were guilty. And I think all of us that are touched by this want to see justice for the victims, Tylee and JJ, and that includes anyone who knew about it and could have said something and stopped it because they knew firsthand information, not speculating or maybe this is happening. And the circle of friends, we know some of them that were in that circle. And so those are some of the questions we want answered in the trial. Were these friends involved? How involved? And will they be held accountable? Or did they give enough evidence that the prosecutors feel like they should have immunity. And I know there are a couple of immunity agreements. I have some insight into that that's not pertinent right now in just a couple minutes. But of course, some people get immunity agreements because they can give information that's helpful that the prosecutors can't get any other way. So we're hoping to find out a lot more about that. Who knew what and when did they know it? And can we get more information on that? Let's see. Joel Gazer asked if Tylee's remains have been released. Yes, they have, but we don't have any information on that. And we don't want to ask the family members. We're letting people do, the people that are in charge have such a, I won't say it's a terrible burden, it's a burden of love, but I can't imagine being responsible for that. What do you do? Who do you include? Everyone wants to know, and they aren't talking about it yet, and we aren't pushing it. And we just support them, love them. That's just difficult to deal with. Okay, here's a question for you, Adam. I didn't read it ahead of time. I hope it's not embarrassing. I was wondering, do you do the same? Oh, do you go to the same ward or the circle of friends that live in Gilbert? Do you contain yourself if you do? If so, if it's too personal, it's not meant to hurt you.
What circle of friends? The one when I lived in Gilbert back in the day?
I think she's talking about the circle of friends that were part of Chad and Laura, people that are involved in the case, like Melanie Gibb, for example.
No, I don't know. Matter of fact, I've never even met Melanie Gibb. So I'm not around. I wasn't around any of those circle of friends. I never was in Lori's ward ever. So I don't know. We did have a guest on that was in Lori's ward. Mm-hmm. And she talked about that, how Lori was acting at church and how Lori was at church. What podcast was that? Like 20 podcasts back or 10 podcasts back?
It was goat yoga.
It was right after goat yoga, because we had one of the women that work at the goat yoga was in Lori's ward, and she talked about Lori's ward and the people and what Lori went through and all that. So if you want to get some insight on the church and the ward, watch that podcast.
Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of members of the church in that area. It's like a heavy concentration like there is in many parts of Utah. So there's not much of a chance you're in the same ward.
Especially in Gilbert. There's probably like 500 wards in Gilbert, just in Gilbert.
Right. Do we have a P.O. box for our podcast? Yes, we have a P.O. box. We use the same P.O. box I have for my business. And so if you'll shoot me an email to rexandadam@gmail.com, I'll be glad to send that to you, Donna. Well, it depends on what you're going to send. If it's
She's sending a book. She's sending the book back. I bought this book and I want a refund.
And I don't speak Latin and I want
refund.
All right. We have time for one or two more here.
Okay.
I don't have starred. Let me look for question marks. Okay. Rex and Adam, Donna and I, this is Debbie D, would like for Emmy Eaton to interview y'all. I would be glad to do an interview with Emmy. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
This is Nate Eaton's daughter. I can't remember how old she is. She's pretty young. Is she 12 or younger? And she does interviews. I saw her interviewing Dr. Phil, and she has I think she has 7 questions she asks, different for different situations.
Right.
But she's just
that's cute.
Just a little light and a performer. And she's just as cute as can be. So
I can see Nate going, okay, look, I can't get this interview. So here's what I need you to do. Walk up to this guy and ask him if you can interview him. And here are the questions I want you to ask.
Exactly. Yeah. Nate's spy when he can't get the interview.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we would love that. That would be fun. So, and if Nate's able to stop by the meet and greet, I'd be
Bring
glad
her.
to bring him up.
Yeah, bring
Yeah,
her.
tell him to bring Emmy. She can. We talked about simulcast with the Hidden True Crime, Hidden Gems. Maybe we can have a trimulcast with Nate and Emmy, or
Yeah.
a quadruplecast, whatever that is.
I like it.
That would be fun. This get together is getting out of hand already. I like it. Okay, do we have time for one more? Now our hour's up, but real quickly, Adam, because I think it'll be quick. So TD asked how Zach's doing.
I think under the circumstances, he's doing good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, under the circumstances, I think everyone in your immediate family is doing good. I think even Janice and Barry doing good because they still function every day. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with your mom, day before yesterday, and I love having conversations with her. We've always been close, but I never know how she continues to function and does as well as she does. So
yeah.
All things considered, the family is.
We're calling this a miracle, is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It's a miracle. Okay, very well said.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for waiting for us or being a few minutes late as we once again struggle through the technology. We'll get this figured out someday. Look forward to seeing y'all in a live next Friday at 6:30 Mountain Time and the meet and greet. So Adam and I will both be there, of course, for the live. Adam will be there virtually for the meet and greet. Look forward to meeting the people that are able to make it to Rexburg. Closing comments, Adam.
Tonight, I'm going to go see my friend Cowboy Troy. I wrote about him in my first book. And he's now joined with Big and Rich, which is a country band. He texted me yesterday, says, I'm in town. I said, great. What are we doing? And so tonight we're going to go watch him perform with Big and Rich. Now, I don't watch or listen to a lot of country. I know country is a very popular music. So he gets mad at me when I say, I have no idea who your friends are here. I don't know Gretchen Wilson. Is that her name? I just don't know. I don't listen to country, so I don't really know a lot of country. But I'm going to go support him and it's at Ostrich. I think it's called the Ostrich Fair or something that's happening here in Chandler.
You can hug an ostrich.
Well, I'm not hugging an ostrich. I'm scared of them. I'm not getting near one. I do want to hug a cow, a dog, and a horse. Those are my top three. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing tonight. Hopefully you guys are doing something fun too. Or if it's night where you are, hopefully you did something fun today. And we can't wait to talk to you guys again on Tuesday for our next podcast.
Right. Then on Friday for the live. Take care.